If you look closely at the life of Jesus, you start to realize that calling him politically neutral might be one of the biggest oversimplifications ever made. And yet, saying he was a political revolutionary also misses something far deeper. He never campaigned, never rallied crowds to overthrow Rome, never encouraged his disciples to run for office. But the things he said, those quiet sentences dropped into dusty streets and synagogue corners, were more explosive than any political slogan. His critics weren't wrong when they said his teachings turned the world upside down. The irony is that he did it without forming a single political party. People today often divide Jesus into two versions. One side claims he stayed out of politics entirely. The other insists he was a radical pushing a new social order. But when you watch him carefully, how he moved, what he confronted, what he refused to engage in, you realize he didn't fit into any of the categories we create. When the crowds pressed him to take sides, he disappointed both groups. When zealots wanted him to ignite a rebellion against Rome, he slipped away and told them his kingdom wasn't built with swords. Yet when the religious elite wanted him to keep quiet, to stop drawing attention to the corruption in their system, he stood right in front of them and called them whitewashed tombs. Neutral, hardly, but political in the way we understand politics? Not even close. He refused to bow to the expectations of the oppressed or the powerful. When shown a coin and pushed to take a side, Rome or Israel, he responded with a sentence that still echoes through history. Give to Caesar what is Caesar's, and to God what is God's. It wasn't avoidance. It was exposure. In a world obsessed with power, he reminded them that Caesar's face might belong on a coin, but God's image was stamped on people. Jesus was shifting the argument entirely, moving it from the arena of taxes and governments to the arena of identity and allegiance. His answer wasn't political neutrality, it was political transcendence. And yet, look at how he acted toward the people caught in the machinery of their society. The poor, the oppressed, the sick, the powerless. He confronted injustice without announcing a political ideology. He challenged systems without running for office. He lifted up the people those systems crushed without rewriting a constitution. Everything he did destabilized the structures of the world around him, not by grabbing power, but by redefining what power is. Not by replacing one system with another, but by revealing that every earthly system, no matter how well-intentioned, crumbles if it doesn't flow from love, justice, and God's kingdom. That's why when people say Jesus was neutral, it feels dishonest. Neutral people don't flip tables in temples. Neutral people don't expose leaders who exploit others. Neutral people don't stand between a crying woman and a crowd ready to stone her. Neutral people don't call out injustice in broad daylight. But he also wasn't the kind of radical our world recognizes. He didn't seek office, overthrow governments, or impose laws. His revolution ran deeper. He aimed for the heart, where every political system, every social movement, every law ultimately begins. So was Jesus politically neutral? No. Was he a political radical? Still no. He was more than both. He was the kind of leader who could stand before the governor of the empire and say, without trembling, "My kingdom is not of this world," and then walk out of that moment having said more about power, corruption, and truth than any politician could say in a lifetime. His words didn't just challenge Rome, they challenge us now. Because if Jesus walked into our political climate today, it wouldn't matter which side tried to claim him. He'd expose the hypocrisy in all of us. He would call out injustice wherever it hid, tell truth wherever it was inconvenient, and remind us that his kingdom cannot be voted on, controlled, or weaponized. It demands something far harder, transformation. And maybe that's the real reason people still argue about whether Jesus was political. Because deep down, we can figure out how to categorize someone who doesn't serve anyone's agenda but God us. His life unsettles both the comfortable and the powerful, not by taking sides, but by revealing what side God is always on, the side of truth, justice, humility, and love. Not red, not blue, just a kingdom that exposes everything beneath it.